Choose your character.
All right. Welcome back to the Geek Set Podcast, the only podcast that blend hip hop culture and geek culture together. I'm your boy Deuces, and this is One-on-One with Deuces, the place where I speak with creators, curators, and people that you should know. And right now, man, we have a very special individual, somebody that as I started doing more and more research, I started seeing how dope this person is and how important to the culture. But we have the one, the only record. Ronnie, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty okay. I mean, honestly, I'm actually really happy that we had our interview today because I was actually in the gym yesterday and I learned the importance of like tightening your core
Okay.
and had baby's first like back spasm, like I tweaked it. So all yesterday I was just laying in bed like I can't move. This is the first thing I've done since like really like raising again on the third day. So
okay. Well, I appreciate
better
that
today is how I'm doing.
Hey, make sure you pace yourself because we don't need you taking yourself out in the gym.
Oh yes, I learned my lesson. I watched a pop can analogy on YouTube. They were like, if you don't tighten your core, it's the difference between stepping on a can that's full and unopened and one that's drained and open. I was like, you right, because I did accordion there a little bit on my Tom and Jerry. So
right. Well, I mean, one of the things that we do on this platform is that we do make sure that we give people their flowers while they're here, right? And one, you have an impressive list of cosplays that you have done, right? And I love the fact that you do builds and everything. So it's, I know that there's segments to cosplay. I did my first cosplay at DreamCon, which is where me and you met, but like I appreciate the journey and the people that really go into it and everything like that. But even outside of that, you have been a huge voice for the LGBTQ plus community and people and POC community, Blerd Culture. You've been an MC, a host in many of events, and I said when I was doing my research, I said Ronnie is giving voices to the people who may feel voiceless, and I love that about you. So I want to make sure that I mean, obviously you probably hear from the community in general, but from my fan base and the people that I know that are interested in this interview and the people who may get introduced to you, we appreciate everything that you are doing within this culture, and I needed you to know that.
I appreciate that so much. I honestly, I don't even think about it sometimes because it feels so natural to me to just kind of like, if the door is being held open to me, hold it open for somebody else behind me,
Right.
And to really just I think hear it from somebody else who gets it, who also wants to create the kind of spaces and the kind of conversations in our community that I want to have. It definitely hits home. So I appreciate that deeply.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like I said, I think it is important to do that. It is just to highlight each other, but also make sure when people are on that journey, they know that they're appreciated. Because sometimes we get tunnel vision. So it's like we're doing this, and again, it's natural. It's not anything that you're forcing that you're doing. So it's like you're just kind of working, and then sometimes you're like, oh yeah, I'm just doing what comes natural to me, and it's very important that allies and the people of the culture also take that time, especially when it's people who make themselves available like how you do. I see you in Twitter spaces, I see you interacting with people, and it's funny because it's like I'll see people interview you and you're just Ronnie, but to them they're freaking out like, oh my god, but you're not even realizing that they're freaking out because you're just a cool ass person,
because I'm just vibing,
right?
I still have such a hard time like wrapping my head around people who do get any sort of like excitement to talk to me, because I wake up every day just feeling like that guy, that dude, I'm about my business, I'm doing my thing, I'm saying hi to my Twitter mutes, I'm going along my business. So It makes you, it's definitely like one of those humbling moments. It makes you step back and go, damn, I really have been in this bitch for a minute.
Yeah.
Trying to do what I do.
I think the last interview, and I can't remember if the interview was last year or this year, but you had said you've been cosplaying for 14 years.
Yeah. Yeah, she's been here for a minute.
Right. So the one thing, and so I had to go back, and I'm glad that you posted the picture because I saw your Sasuke cosplay, your first one. And you know, with hearing you talk about it, you make it seem like it was like horrible. Now I get it that people roasted you for it, but like,
oh, definitely, I earned it
for a first cosplay. I thought it was pretty impressive.
Now, to be fair, I had a lot of like over the shoulder guidance of my mom who had been sewing for many more years. So I started doing it. She'd be like, yeah, you're fucking that up, Sonny. And I'd be like, oh, okay, let me get that together. So definitely would have ended up a lot different had she not been there to kind of TA the experience for me.
Hey, sometimes you need that. But what I was really looking for, I was like, how come you haven't revisited? I couldn't find a newer Sasuke.
I was thinking about it, but I was like, if I do that, I'm gonna hurt some feelings because I want to come through with like the whole silicone chest plate, like. And then I was like, dang, a silicone chest plate about $200, $300. And I keep pushing it off in my mind because I was like, if I get this silicone chest plate, I'm gonna act a fool. I just want y'all all know none of your husbandos are safe. I'm doing Sasuke. I'm doing who I want. I'm gonna do Sanji with his shirt up. I'm gonna do Zoro. Mostly a lot of One Piece characters actually, but like nobody's safe.
I love it though. I love it, you know, because like I said, that's the one thing I was looking for because I was like, all right, right now you like coasting. Like I'm seeing all the cosplay and I'm like, yo, killing it in so many realms. I was like, she got to revisit it. You got to be like, all right, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I got to revisit it. But what I love about the story, and this is where I love getting people's relatable stories, right? You know what I'm saying? Like your whole introduction to anime was to trying to get it, you know, chasing after some boy, whatever the case may be. And we all done that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us has been in places trying to chase after, you know what I'm saying, a guy or a girl, you know what I'm saying, trying to do something, right? But then now you kind of like took the hymns and run with it. Have you ever like ran across him again and it was like look at me now?
I feel like I briefly saw him like years ago, and I think he was kind of like trying to express interest in me, but I was also just it was one of those things that's like I didn't realize it until like after we had parted. I was like, wait a minute, he was trying to shoot his shot at me now. But I was definitely just sitting there like, oh yeah, cool. Glad you're doing okay. Yeah. You know, shooting back and forth. Good luck with your life. I'm gonna go. Yeah. And it was just kind of like, wait a minute. So it's definitely funny to see how the tables there turned because I was not at all checking for him in that interaction.
I mean, and that's how it be, you know. Sometimes, like I said, the person who put you on is like, oh, you wasn't even as deep as I thought you was, you know.
You're a normie compared to me. Get on my level.
So, you know, a lot of the things where I did get more introduced to your personality is that, like, you know, you're heavy in the Twitter spaces, either whether you're whether you're just participating in it, you're running a few and the things like that. And so like you've been big on building a community and helping build a community and everything like that. So I wanted to ask you just in general, like coming from somebody who you probably didn't know that there was this big online community to now being, you know, within and leading and pushing this community and helping out with it. How has that been to see that emergence of so many people now?
Honestly, it's one of those, when it started to really take off my presence on Twitter, it was one of those duh moments because when I really felt at my most at home in cosplay was probably during the height of the Tumblr era. Ooh. And Tumblr was so community based. It was never about like, you know, having a curated feed that kind of resulted, I want to say, a little bit after the height of Tumblr, because that's when you started to, when Instagram was really popping off. And I mean, Twitter was there, but it was mainly just for people to listen in on celebrities' daily lives and see what they were going in. There wasn't a whole lot of people creating a name for themselves on Twitter for real. And it just kind of, cosplay felt a little bit colder to me. I feel like after the rise of Tumblr, it became about how do I make my feed center me the most and I kind of tried to adapt to that model, as people will probably be able to tell you, not very well, because during the height of Instagram, I kind of went AFK for a little bit. I was doing my thing in person at conventions, and I had IG so that I could connect with people, but I was posting maybe twice a month if you were lucky. I was just, doing and hanging out with people outside. I was on Facebook a lot because Facebook had groups.
Yeah.
So I was running with the Black alt girls on Facebook when Facebook was trying to pop off.
Yeah.
And I realized that Facebook was dying. It just kind of became like boomerpropagandist.com.
Sure
and
did.
I was like, how I didn't realize that what I was missing from social media was that sense of being in a community again.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to just kind of like be on Twitter because I was like, I want a place where, one, I can advertise what I do for work and not get zucked to hell and back. And two, just, a place where I can just kind of like do most of my rambling, dumb idea, like stream of consciousness bullshit that I would do on Facebook. But I wanted to do it there a little bit less because I was like, it's mostly friends and cousins now and they don't want to hear it. And when it started like clicking to me, I was like, wait a minute. This is Tumblr. I can reblog people. I can retweet people. I can do and then Clubhouses was happening. I didn't understand Clubhouse, man. I really wanted to, but I had it in my head. I was like, you can't get on Clubhouse unless someone sends you a link so that you can join Clubhouse. I made my Clubhouse for the first time like last week. I thought you had to be invited to sign up. I was like,
it was at first. It was at when it first.
No one gave me the memo that they changed that rule. So I steady been thinking this whole time, dudes, I was outside of the club hating, but spaces started popping off and I was like, this is so much fun. And I tried doing Twitch for a while and I still do kind of Twitch, but it's not the same. It doesn't feel like the round table talk that I really want out of the conversations that I have. I'm the type of person where it's like, if you put me in a camera and tell me to be funny, I'm gonna do this because I don't know what to do. But if you put me in a conversation and tell me to be funny, I'm gonna have you laughing your ass off.
Right.
I can feed off of you. And I love being able to feed off of other people and hear new ideas and challenge some ones that are a little dubious, and being able to really refine that in Twitter is making me really hopeful for what I want to do going forward.
Dope. We're gonna have to bring you on one of our shows on Twitch that we started working on, because this is how you get that roundtable community, what you're talking about. So we do what we call in real life, where it's literally just all of us is just playing, we just in real life, right? Mm-hmm. But we'll sometimes play group games, and now we're still on camera. We're still on camera and we're chopping it up, but then we have an admin who's also monitoring the chat. Mm-hmm. So as we are talking, they can ask the mod can ask whatever the questions are in the chat, and we can talk about it while playing the game. And then it becomes not just I'm in the game and I'm talking and it just seems solo. Some people can do it. I can't. I got
ADHD. You want me to like be lost and focused in the game and remember to check in on y'all? I'm gonna die a bunch. I mean, I'm probably gonna die a bunch regardless, but I'm gonna die more now.
What are you playing right now?
Currently what owns my life, and this is very embarrassing, the Diablo Immortal mobile game. I like Diablo, and they were like, here, it's on your phone now. I was like, oh, that's too fucking easy.
This here,
right there whenever I want to do
this here, I am on board. Like, I love Dragon Ball Z so much. Now, it's not my only anime. I put that out there because, that's a toxic conversation when you start saying Dragon Ball Z. It's not my own, but it's one of my favorites. So, like, their mobile game, Dokkan Battle, I've been playing that for like the past 5 years. Like, it has a hold on me that I cannot let go. I love it.
Man, let me tell you, there was like a good month where One Piece Bounty Rush just had me by the fucking neck, bro. I was like, let me undownload this. Let me uninstall. Right. I got shit to do.
So I think when it comes down to you, and I think why so many people gravitate to your cosplay and even your photos, and I think it goes back to you being a theater kid, is that you sell not only just the cosplay, but like the character, whether it's you posing the character, being as dramatic as the character, or whatever the case may be, like you sell that and everything like that. And like being a theater kid who also, always loved to dress up and everything like that, this has to be like this realm of of a profession, being a professional cosplay has to be like extremely fun for you.
Oh, definitely. Honestly, I feel like it's a chicken or egg situation. I don't know which came first, me being a theater kid or me being a cosplayer, because they really popped off around the same time. But definitely just someone who enjoys just the performance of it all. I've always just been, let me give you my big three real quick, and you're gonna go, oh, okay. So I'm an Aries sun, I am a Leo rising, and I am a Taurus moon. So it's like, if you give me an audience like ha-cha-cha-cha, I will entertain you. I feed off of other people's energy. I'm like an introverted extrovert, because it's like I feed off of other people's energy, but I also have like a limited social battery, because it's like once I get enough of that, I need to leave. And if you give me any more attention, I will get overstimulated. Leave me alone now. I left.
Right.
Yeah, so just being able to bring people's idea of a character to life, like, and watching their face light up in response to you is like, yeah, I did it.
So because like you've talked about like, you know, what got you into cosplay and, you know, things like that, but I always like to like, when was the moment that you was like, oh, I'm going hard with this? Like, because like there's that moment where you do it just for fun, but then there's a moment where it like it switched, like, oh, I can actually do this at a level that like I really like want to go hard with it. Like, when was that moment for you?
I remember I was on Tumblr and I was cosplaying two of some of like the most notorious fandoms on the site at the time, and that was like Hetalia and Homestuck, which is an entire podcast in and of itself. And because the communities were so centered there, so localized, I was networking a lot. I was talking with a lot of people. There was just so much content surrounding these two series that it was like trumping a lot of everything else on the internet, it felt like, in my corner anyway. And I remember I hit 10K on Tumblr for the first time. And I sat there beside myself. I said, that is a lot of fucking people. And I must have done that at like, when did I hit 10K on Tumblr? Probably like 15, 16 or so. So I'm just sitting there like, that's a big number compared to how old I am. That's probably more days than I've been alive. And I was like, okay, there's people who enjoy what I do. What can I do to impress them? How can I kick this up a notch?
Right.
So I guess it was really just that moment of realizing how many eyes were on me, that it started to register less as like a symptom and more as like an opportunity. Ooh. So I was like, okay, cool. Let me kind of get in my creative bag here. And I think I've always just been a very creative person on top of that too. So I will often tell people, like, if I do makeup for a character, I almost never do it the exact same way twice, because I enjoy just the freedom of like trying to think about it differently each time, unless they have like a super, super defined look. But yeah, it was mostly just me realizing, okay, it's some people here. Let's put on the hard hat and get to work.
Yeah. And then, like I said, you know, I think that drive is what makes you like, you know, because it seems like the only person that you're competing with is yourself, right? So because you have that drive and you're like, okay, I did this, and I think that the community is going to love this. Then you're like, oh, okay, now what can I do next, right? Because I always love that moment when you talk to somebody who's cosplaying and they're already thinking about what their next one is, because like it's that realm of like, oh man, these possibilities, I don't even know how I'm going to do this and everything like that.
Talk about like going to a con to debut your costume for the first time. And this is the first time this costume that you've probably spent months on is seeing the light of day. And the first thing you do when you get on the floor is like, oh damn, I want to cosplay that. Oh damn, I want to cosplay that. And you're just like taking in all these other cool options. You're like, damn, I really want to make every costume in the world, and I cannot hug every cat. I gotta figure some shit out.
So how do you store your cosplays?
I wonder if I can just boom.
Oh, okay. It's not as complicated as I thought it was going to be.
I definitely, when I had a lot more like builds and stuff, I would have to get like little gallon containers that would just be like, that's that costume in together. But armor is just hard to store in general. It's kind of impractical. The best way to store it, I've found, is like to almost put like pins or something or nails in the wall to just kind of like hang it up, because trying to hang up armor inside of a closet, there's too much surrounding friction. And then putting it in a box is kind of cool, but if anyone knows, I live in the desert, it gets hot. And if you have foam on top of foam with the paint, even if you have it sealed, if it gets too hot, the paint could like attach itself. And then you try to get them apart, now you're messing up your armor. So the best way to do it is just to kind of like to kind of peg it, stagger it against the wall a little bit. I've never done that personally because I feel like that would make me claustrophobic, but that's definitely the way you're supposed to do
it. I mean, I'm obviously like, it's funny because like not knowing it, like I've always assumed that cosplayers have so many mannequins. Like they have a room full of mannequins.
Some
and
people
the cosplayer just
I don't know where they coming across these cheap full body mannequins, but no, sir.
Oh no, they're not cheap at all. We even
I don't know who paying for them. Not I.
If Ronnie had unlimited money, what would be the cosplay that you would do that you haven't done yet?
Okay, so I have two answers for this, because one of them is like my dream cosplay that I feel like I will actually achieve. Well, actually, you know what? Maybe I'll do both. Who cares? Actually, one of them that's a little more practical for me to achieve than the other. The first is that I'm kind of like a furry. I like animal personas and stuff. I've always wanted to make a fursuit, and I've never done it. And I really want to make a like QB 9 tails, but like a fursuit with like the full 9 tails and like the big head. And I want to be Kurama, and I want to go around con and be Kurama.
That'd be fire.
And I want like light up eyeballs and like smoke to come out of the mouth. I want like the whole 9. So that, and the other one, if you know me, you will know that my favorite anime of all time, forever and always, is Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt. And I have cosplayed Anarchy Panty before, but I would like to do it again better. And when I do, I need to have someone cosplaying her sister Stocking. And I really want to have a pink Jeep, because in the show they have a pink Jeep called See-Through. So I want to cosplay them, but I want to have the Jeep. And if I'm being extra, because I think there actually is one out here, if I'm not mistaken. I live in Vegas. There's some wild shit. I think they have pink Jeep rental services.
Oh.
And I think there's one that has like a goddamn stripper pole in the back of it. And I was like, could you imagine cosplaying Panty and Stocking with a see-through and a damn transformation pole? Oh my God. We would eat. I would eat. My soul would be complete. So that's definitely on the bucket list.
All right. Well, we're gonna put it in the stratosphere. We're gonna make sure that hopefully that you like all the money and all the endorsements comes to you. Where you are
it's up
able
to
to
my family to make it happen.
Right. So I wanted to get into that because we have Wreck-It Ronnie. And then we have Bunny Black. Now, now the one thing that I love about you, and even when I first interviewed you, because when I first interviewed, I knew Wreck-It Ronnie, and I've heard about you and everything like that, but I guess I didn't know much heavily about it, right? So right off the rip, your intro, like when you said it, like my cameraman even was like, did you know that? I said, I did not know that, because you was very open about, you being a sex worker and you being a erotic model, but it's the way that you talk about it that I love. Like even listening to every interview, because sometimes, some people, even though they're in that profession, it's still like they make it seem taboo, where you just say like it's normal, like it's regular, which it is. And it's something that I love about it, because I love that you are just living in who you are, and you're an advocate for it. So I wanted to talk about you getting into that, because again, I do all my research, and like I even saw, I think it was an interview that you were saying, or it may have been a post where you like people are asking, are you going to get a little bit more risque with your with their cosplays, and you was like, look, I'm going to do it on my own. And then you had set a date and everything, and it looks like you hit that date and get there. So I wanted to talk about that decision and going into that.
So I guess, okay, how'd I get into it? Well, it was definitely 2020 Panini vibes. I realized that actually what really started it was, the real big boom. What's a foom? The real big boom of OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Now I had known about cosplayers kind of like monetizing their photo sets before, because I would say that Patreon kind of took off, I feel like, a lot because of cosplayers, and definitely sex workers as well. But I had it in my head that there was no way that I would be able to continue to enjoy cosplay if I turned it into something that I made money off of, because then I would no longer be cosplaying what I wanted on my own terms.
Right.
It would be whatever I have to do to, fulfill my obligations to whatever thing you had to do. And I was somebody who would put on a cosplay maybe twice a month, if that. So for a long time, Patreon was taken off. People were like, you should get a Patreon. You should da-da-da-da. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I don't care. But yeah, then fast forward, obviously, to 2020 with the Panini. I was like, you know what? I kind of post like semi-thoughty photos anyway. What if I just put my more thoughty photos that still probably wouldn't get taken down by Instagram or whatever behind like a tiny little paywall? And if people want to donate a couple bucks to me, then I can have some extra cash to buy some drinks or buy a new cosplay wig, whatever. So I was doing that, and I'm somebody who just kind of like takes everything way too seriously though. So I was like, all right, backdrops, lighting, let me get this, that, So I was putting stuff out. And fast forward a couple months, and I start making more doing this on the side on the weekends than I am at my full-time job. I said, cool. Y'all don't even give me insurance. So why am I here? So I was like, absolutely not, quit, and started just, full-time focusing into OnlyFans work. And then obviously there was like the OnlyFans scare where they were kind of like, man, we're going to kick off sex workers. And we were like, are you sure about that? But I stopped trusting them after that. And navigated. Migrated. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. Migrated over to Fansly, which was actually started and founded by sex workers for sex workers. So I have no qualms or fears that they're going to just kind of like try to sell. Because what the issue of it is that OnlyFans just kind of started on a whim. And then it blew up because sex workers made it so. And when they felt that this boom of sex work was going to not be quite as profitable because things were opening back up after the pandemic, sex work took off in part so much in that time because of so many layoffs of so many people who were immunocompromised or have, disabilities that weren't able to work in these new conditions. And so when they saw that like starting to decline, they were like, all right, well, we want to sell this, but nobody wants to buy your porn platform. So we got to clean it up. We got to take all these people off. And then I was like, well, you don't really have much of a platform to sell at that point, then, do ya?
Right.
Do ya? It's like Pornhub deciding they wanted to get rid of porn. Like, where do you?
I didn't respect them for that move. And even when they backtracked it, I said, because I am pro sex work, I am like, so like I always said, I said, why would you, like, one, OnlyFans, I get it. Like, y'all, like, there's other people who do other content, but it's like, yo, y'all turn y'all back on the community that made y'all who y'all are and everything like that. But I wanted to go back on something that you said, because I think that in addition to the reason why yours probably popped off so well is because of that work and that dedication, putting it into the lighting and the background, because just as much as we hear so many success stories, we have heard failure stories, and and the constant that I've seen in those failure stories is those it are people who believe all they had to do was put up a camera and get naked. And it's like, I mean, there's a realm for that, but if you really want to be successful, you got to put in some work. You got to build the fantasy. You got to make the lighting look good. You got to have some dedication into it and everything like that. And I think that goes into, again, with your theater background, with how you like to be, as impersonable, but you're a very personable person. Like, like you're when you're in a room, people take notice, right? And it's like, so it's like that. It's like, you can see that dedication in those cosplays, in those sets, in whatever what you're placing on Fansly and everything. But I also love like the conversations that you generally have, because like, I've heard you and seen you just give advice on it in regards to like into that platform, because it is scary waters to somebody who may not be as open, or trying to figure out if this is a place for them and everything. And I wanted to kind of get like, because of how much of an advocate you are for the voice of so many people and everything like that, I guess, where did that come from for you? Like, where did that come from for you to constantly be a person to kind of give that advice, or be the the therapy friend, as you call yourself sometimes?
Yeah, I think it's really my mom. I think I got it from her. She's always been a very like empathetic person. Like, she's worked in a church her entire life. She does food pantry drives. She does outreach, and I always, I was raised up doing things like that. So the idea of just making sure that everybody is handled with the same weight, I feel like, is something that can be so missing from our interactions sometimes. And I just feel that I'm a very empathetic person. I'm also like a very neural person. I feel like I think a lot. And my major in college was communications. And I've always just found it so interesting how we, as people, just kind of socialize, like beyond just like speaking, just like, nonverbals and haptics and things like that too. So I'm the type of person who will go into a situation where you might have someone like who's searching for, sex work to purchase or whatever. And whereas some people might see that as, oh, that's just a John, that's just, oh, they down bad, or they this, that, and the third. I've always been the type of person to kind of like take a step back and be like, well, this is just a person that, wants a service, not like anybody else would,
Right.
And it's kind of like, we all literally consume porn. On top of that, this person is just buying ethically sourced porn.
Right.
So like, I just, I feel like I'm getting away a little bit from the question.
No, it's still in room. It was just more so about like, you being a person that is that empathetic, or at least understanding of other people, right? And it's what makes Ronnie, Bunny Black. Because here's the thing, I always say, even with sex worker, like I do graphic design, and so through my walk of life, I worked with a lot of sex workers, helping them with their logo, their website, stuff like that, right? And the funny thing about that, what I tell people all the time, is people have this fantasy on how you guys are going to act like on a daily basis. They think that every conversation is going to be lustrous, like you're going to be like, hey, how you doing? And like they think that this is going to be you. And I'm like, dude, talk to some of these people like outside of that. If you just chop it up with them, they're some of the coolest people with the best outlook on life in general. And I think that it is like you have those who, they'll look at them like, oh, they're Johns, or like they're just, like you said, like they're down bad. But then you have people that's like, no, you know what? Hey, they're cool. And if they just happen to want to see me, nude, or see me in a lewd cosplay, cool, whatever. I'm not going to treat them different just because there's some transactional, transactional method in between it. And I think
exactly
that helps people not only want to buy, support you more, but they're like, yo, you know what, I rock with Ronnie, you know what I'm saying? Even outside of the Fansly content, I'm a follower, I'm gonna see what she's talking about, I'm gonna interact with her, we gonna debate some anime. Like, it's like, it gives you that time to build that fan base. And it's the same, it's just like a creator, like well, it is a creator, but it's the same. Like, you think about somebody who's a YouTuber, right? Like the YouTuber who's hard to reach, like, there's people who's going to rock with them, but the ones who are very more successful is the ones that build the community, talk to the community, talk to the fans and stuff like that. So it's like, I see that, and it goes into everything of what makes you,
definitely. Yeah. And there was something that you said, it's how like the type of person who would point out, oh, you're down bad. That's the type of person who also is like gonna jump on like leaked porn and content and stuff like that too. So it's like, not only are you pointing a finger, but you're part of the problem in the first place. And yeah, so I definitely have just always been someone like about like talking to people. Like I feel like a lot of my, especially very long time fans will stay and say that they enjoy me as one of their favorite creators because I don't do like that, oh, how was your day, sexy? Oh, da 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 da. Like right. I'm sending them DMs like, what's up, Lord Shitstain? How far did you get in fucking Dark Souls today? I remember you said that you were playing that, and it's really fucking hard. So good job if you got any fucking further. Like I talk to them like people. And I mean, yeah, there might be like some playful flirting like inside there, but like as I was kind of saying in our earlier interview, in a lot of instances, I'm kind of playing therapy friend through Fansly as well. Like I'm talking to people that are, you know, maybe otherwise going through some things and just don't have anybody in their life that it seems like is checking up on them. Like, especially like, and I say this like with the bottom of like, from the bottom of my heart, like our Black men have like a problem where just, they're not being checked in on. They don't have the same checks and balances in community that I see often that I and other like non-men presenting people will have. And so to know that my work can do that for people, like I've literally been told in my line of work, like if it weren't for the fact that I knew that I could count on my daily message from you, like I don't know if I would still be here. And like just being able to do that, like I'm gonna keep doing it. I don't know what else to say. Like it's like you said, it's heavy. It's something that you just kind of sit there and kind of like marvel at. You're like, wow, I did that. I can make a difference in that way.
Everybody has the stereotypical on what a Black geek is. Are you familiar with the term blerd?
Blerd, no.
Right. Some people said it came off of Scrubs. Some people said it came off the internet. I don't honestly really know.
Don't you see the skin? The eyebrows, the hair.
Yo, my geeks still rock, you know what I'm saying, Dunks or Jordans or whatever.
Did I do that?
It's exciting. It's like, holy, oh, my dog is gonna start barking.
It's all right.
She's excited about it too.
And same as you said, like a barbershop talk, like we would go into really in-depth conversations about these theories and like, well, what if and how come?
It's not unusual to be
right? But we talk about anime, video games, comic books and stuff like that, but when you hear us talk about it, the passion sounds like we arguing Jordan and Bron.
What do you mean? What does that even mean? What does that even mean?
Like, it sounds like barbershop talk.
Because you don't know the history, don't mean it ain't happened, huh? You broke that down right there.
But when you see the Black geek, you don't see that. You see the socially awkward glasses. Well, this is me. And that's not a lot of us. A lot of us do sound and talk like us. You know what I'm saying?
Because it becomes stereotypical, as if that's where our strength comes from.
I don't know the geek that you talked about before. I know the geek you're talking about right now, though.
It was sort of a call sign so we could find each other on message boards.
Anime gives you life lessons throughout that whole thing. Like, there's not one anime that I know of that doesn't teach you to never give up.
It's just like, I just love seeing us go into the world and go into these different spaces and create things that weren't there before. And then it was like Miles Morales is like the normal, you know, Black person in the United States.
That was my first like Blerd moment, was seeing, you know, Storm on the X-Men cartoon series. And I was like, wow, that's a Black woman and she's strong, she's powerful.
That's what I want for us. I want us to be that voice.
So, you know, one of the reasons why I went on this journey to do this documentary about the Black geek documentary and Blerd Culture is because over the pandemic, same thing. Like, you know, when I first started this podcast with my people, we just wanted to be like, hey, look at us. We watch anime and stuff like that. And we love comic books and we can have these conversations. As we grew and started having more conversations with people, we realized, like, one, there's a lot of people that's in in Blerd culture that's super dope that they're not being celebrated, right? And I'm like, I want to celebrate these people. I'm an advocate. I am an ally for so many just marginalized individuals and so many groups. Like even at my original job, I'm like, I am actually an ally, a part of the LGBTQ pride community, because I want to make sure that I can help out or I can lend my voice as, you know, a cis man, just being able to be like, look, I am whatever you need. You guys need more support, I'm there. You need more bodies there. Look, I'm at the rallies with you guys supporting. I don't care, because I want to show that solitude. So growing up as a Blerd, you know, I realized like, oh, we got this culture, but then hearing the people speak within it. So one of the dope moments, it was you and Moody Senpai, and that I was, I don't know if it was a thread I was watching or something I was listening to, but it was like, you see a lot of these groups sometimes, and then it becomes like men versus women, or, you know, it comes man bashing or woman bashing or whatever the case may be. And then it becomes toxic. And though we do have elements of that in it, I like how you guys speak up for both sides, no matter what. Like, look, hey, let's not go too hard on it, right? And you guys are focused on rebuilding and being better, right? And I think that, to me, that was so impressive, because it was like, there's so many relationship podcasts on both sides that are just giving out the worst advice and the worst information. And I'm like, I hate that. So anytime that I can see men, you know what I'm saying, men and women, people of all different cultures come together, and we can say what we need to change and say what we want, like, okay, and address the toxicity of like things that we see within the culture. But the focus is not on, let's just keep on piling on. How do we get better? How do we move from it? And I love that. And again, it goes into with what your personality is, and your even that, you know, it's like you're like a modern day bartender. You know, they always say like the bartenders, like especially like those those local ones, where it's like the bartender knows everybody. They sit there, they talk with you.
That's exactly what it feels
like. Like that's how you are with your fans. And I think that is so dope about you in regards to that.
I appreciate that. That's exactly like you said the words. You're like the local bartender. I was like, literally, I'm Mo. I'm fucking Mo. I know everything that's going on.
Now you got to do. Now you got to.
Hopefully, a little less suicidal, but you know.
Now you got to do a gender bender Mo cosplay.
Got to just be like, tell me your problems. Now, so you got a homeboy dissing at your fly girl. You gotta get him one of these.
You know what's funny? Also, I don't know if you even see me, like, as I was promoting this like interview that I'm about to have, that I was having with you, I was in a space and somebody was saying like, man, listen, you got the voice for it. Go ahead and talk to Ronnie. And I was like, that's like the 4th time that I heard somebody say, get your advice from Ronnie.
Hit me up in my DMs. I'm saying, like, you use my referral link and I got you. I will literally help you through the shits. I've been there. I've done it.
Now, one thing that I wanted to ask you too, like, so when it comes down to your cosplay and it comes down to your fansly, do you have like a method on how you pick like which cosplay, like what are you going to put there? Or is it like every cosplay you're going to do a lewd version of it? Like, how do you determine what goes where?
I definitely just have been having a lot of fun recently with lewd cosplays. And especially because I'm constantly trying to raise my bar with that. Sometimes the cosplays that I do that aren't for sexy purposes get a little bit neglected, which I've noticed. Like the last guy that I cosplayed was Sanji, and that was like last year. And that's pretty much because everybody that I've cosplayed since him, I've been able to turn a set out of as well.
Okay.
And I guess it's mostly a bit of like work-life balance as well, and knowing how much content that I'm going to have to create, how long it's going to take like to get into the costume, set everything up, get the content I need, tear everything down and clean up, and then I still have to edit, clean everything up, and schedule and post.
Yeah.
So that can be like a few days of work on its own, and then I have to do that for every week. So definitely sometimes it trying to strike the pure balance is a little difficult, but I've been finding just more fun in making sure that the characters that I am dressing up as are characters that I already just really enjoy. Sometimes I'll get requests to do costumes or characters that I like from series that I don't really know or care about, and I'm just kind of like, no, I mean, I guess unless you're going to pay for it directly, unless you're going to pay for the costume and then pay extra to make sure that I make like the custom content for you, I'm not gonna do it. So I think that I'm able to stay true to myself in that, and I'm able to calm some of those fears that like baby Ronnie had when she didn't want to monetize cosplay, that it would be like this soulless thing where I'm just making content for the clicks and the coin and not what I want to do anymore. And I'm like, no, I'm still making sure that they're characters that I still really enjoy and would probably have done regardless anyway.
Yeah.
And then finding ways to make them like more lewd and but like I said, I'm finna get that silicone chest plate. Nobody's safe. Don't worry about it.
Now, are you like doing this whole process by yourself, or do you got a team?
It's mostly me.
Okay.
I do have some help every once in a while from my partner. Mixture of like helps me edit, helps me like set up, because we live in the same house, so like you have to help me clean up or else it's gonna be dirty. Co-star, and he himself is actually getting into like his Fansly bag recently. Like I helped him out with his first photo shoot, so he's setting up like his tiers and everything here soon, so he'll be live, so we'll have like covering all bases in terms of that. And yeah, I would definitely say, I forgot the question again. God damn it.
No, it was just, do you got a team? I was trying to
Oh
figure
yeah.
out.
No, yeah, mostly me. I do have a friend that I will occasionally have film though, and I do lots of collabs. So I guess that's kind of teamish, but it's kind of like I'm really just filming with them and then I'm still going home and editing everything myself. So
yeah. So is there who's the dream collab? Is there a collab that you haven't did that you're like, ooh, I would love to collab with this person?
Honestly, I hope she sees this because I'm actually going to be meeting her for the first time next week. I would love to do a content shoot with Juliet Michelle. I love her content so much. She is just kind of like the internet's MILF, and I cannot thank her enough for her service. Other really cool creators I would really like to cosplay with. I would love to maybe do a set with like Jane Niggs sometime, or like Amaranth.
Okay.
I have also just like a few friends that like live nearby that I haven't gotten the chance to collab with. Like Dude Where's My Ink is another really cool creator. I would love to cosplay. Well, yeah, collab with Lasagna. I think she's adorable. I love her costumes. There's a bunch. I have like a whole,
you got a whole list.
Laundry list.
I love it. But it's again, what I love is like it shows that you're, even though you're a creator within it, you're also a fan of it.
Oh,
right?
Definitely. Simp first and foremost.
So I definitely do love that. So, we talked about just in general, like I told you, like I'm a big ally, and me and you, we had this conversation a little bit for the documentary, but like, there's things that we do need to address and things that we need to make sure that we're better allies for, or just what, more supportive of. And I wanted to kind of get from you, like, what would you like to see as far as like, just in general, allies of sex workers, ally of people of colors, ally of the LGBTQ plus community, like what would you like to see more of in your eyes for that to be as inclusive as we want it to be?
Oof. And is this just mostly like what I like from my lived experience, or just like what I want across the whole board?
Let's start with your lived experience.
Okay. Well, for me and what I know as somebody who is queer, is Black, is femme presenting, and is a sex worker, I would definitely like to see more just promotion. I would love to see more just Black femmes getting opportunities in general, like to do big collabs and just kind of getting praised. I feel like sometimes like a white cosplayer will do like a lewd version of a character and it's seen as like this tasteful IRL hentai, but then if a Black girl does it, it's ghetto or some shit, and I'm like, it's seen as like how, like in really overproduced porn, they'll do like a costume or a cosplay, but like you can tell the actors have like no idea like who they're dressed up as and what they're doing. I feel like a lot of Black cosplayers or Black sex workers who cosplay get treated like that, Like it gets
I hear
seen as
you.
like
Yep.
this cheap imitation or reproduction, just like in the way that I've been talked to about like my own content. Like, oh, it's so refreshing to see you like take your cosplay seriously. And I'm like, most of us do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I tell people that all the time, like, because like one of the things that I always hated was like those gatekeepers where it's like a woman says that, you know what, I like anime. Oh, you wouldn't like anime? Well, tell me this. And I'm like,
yeah,
the most in-depth conversations that I've had about anime have been with women, and specifically women of color. And here's the thing: this is a good stereotype. I say it is because women of color read a whole lot.
Yeah.
And so it's like we're like a lot of us, you know what I'm saying? A lot of us men, I mean, like I said, now granted, there's a lot of us that are not, but a lot of us men are anime only, right? So it's like when we have that when I'm having conversation with them, they're telling me about, you guys are telling me about what's going on in the mangas. I'm just like, yo, I gotta get in it. So it's like I hold you guys up very high because of that. And I've been an advocate of that. As soon as I see it, I'm like, bro, you gotta chill out. Like that's not what we on, you know. And so it's like that, we definitely need to dispel from that.
Yeah, we doing the research. We got the papers to prove it. Goddamn.
Yeah.
But definitely, I would love to see that. I would also love to see, I guess, just for sex workers in general. You can still support sex workers if you don't want to buy their content. Like if you have friends that are sex workers, just by like sharing their promotion posts. And if you're like, oh, that's not safe for work, and I can't, share that. Like, there's so many burner accounts on Twitter. I know you have like a burner Twitter that you just go vent on or go bully people or check up on them when you're blocked anyway. We all have one. Don't play new. You can use that account to share your friends. Like literally even like a little bit of help. Like even if you know that you don't really have much of an audience, sometimes posts will get more likely to get more retweets if it looks like there's already a higher number of retweets. It's kind of like, I don't know,
it's the algorithm.
Like bias. Yeah, it's that too. But just even psychologically, like you're more likely to share a tweet with like a bunch of like with a really high number on it than one with less, just because it's like there's a word for it. I can't remember, but it's like something bias, not recency.
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the word either, but I know exactly what you're talking about. But
yeah, so that.
Yeah, here's an easy way too, even outside of that, because like most sex workers, like I said, even if they're posting like something on it, right, they'll post I wouldn't say not safe but for work one, but they'll post like the promo will be at least standard, where it's like you can even just like and put a reaction to it, right? You know, and that's where I found myself, where one, I don't care for me, because like I said, in the industry that I'm at, I tell people all the time, like, if you know me as Young Deuces, you know that I am a supporter of all of this, no matter what, because and because of that, I'm like, I'm a retweet, I'm a like, I'm gonna say, I see it, I'm gonna be like, damn, I'm gonna hype people up, because it's like, yo, like to me, like I want to see my people shine. I don't care what area or realm they are. If they're not doing anything that is detrimental to our culture and our community, then let's make it, let's support them, let's ride, you know. And
exactly,
even like you said, for somebody, you know, who like you, who also does, you know, just non-lewd cosplay, it could even be simple as bigging up your cosplay, because then somebody who may be like, oh shit, that she you know, she killed it with that cosplay, they go to your page. Even the way you have your links, like you have your link tree or not, whatever, I forgot what service you use, but you have it, and within it you have your not safe for work link, right? So it's like you can follow me as Wreck-It Ronnie, and you can see all the regular cosplay. If you really want to dive deep into somewhere else, you can go here. So it's like you have it set up enough where it's like it's not like stumbling upon it and somebody's like, oh no, I didn't expect to see that.
I didn't know. Oh God, titties.
So it's like, you know, there's different ways to support it. So I agree with you on that. Like we gotta normalize supporting people, you know, even if it is something that you're not consuming, especially if you want to see people, you know, arise or see people, you know, progress and everything like that. So no, I love that. So with that, going into just some more fun stuff and in general, right? Like you are a huge horror fan.
I am.
Right, you know, and so my thing is this, like when you start thinking about horror movies and you start thinking about the like where we're going as far as a culture jumping into more like sci-fi horror and stuff like that. For a lot of cosplayers, I started seeing like some of them that like, yo, I would love to act, or I would love to do some voice acting or stuff like that. Has that been a path that you thought about? Because I feel like you would kill in a horror movie.
So funny enough, back when like I was in middle school and they would be like that, what do you want to be when you grow up? I was determined to be a voice actor. I was like, I specifically want to be a voice actor. It is very hard to do, very lucratively. Obviously, it's a very competitive field.
Right.
So I didn't focus too much of my energy in it, but I have been doing like my own little voice recordings here recently. I don't have like any demo reels or anything, which I really should do, but I'm also just unfortunately got all my irons in the middle of like 5 different fires, honestly. So once I have a little bit more time, I definitely like a demo reel is something that's on my to-do list. But I do love voice acting. I love, I've always been told, like I used to, back when I used to work in reception, and I put on my customer service voice, I would say like half of the time people thought that they were talking to like a robot answering machine first, and they would be like, one, speak to customer. I was like, I am the person working here. And they're like, oh, I thought you were the machine. I was like, no, I just have that kind of a voice. How can I help you?
You got to do that. What's that trend where the people was doing like the pick and save Walmart thing? The insert your credit card here. You got to do
insert your credit card.
But you know what?
Please follow instructions on the keypad.
Here's where it'd be fire if you ever get an opportunity to do so. Because like I started seeing like there's these digital creators who will do, especially like, you know, they'll do what's it, the Rule 36 or something like that, where they turn
Rule 34.
34, right?
Oh wait, is it 34 or 36? 36 something. Is gender bend.
Okay, so then it's 34. The rule that if it exists, there's cosplay. I mean, there's porn of it, right?
That's 34 then. 36 is the gender bend, 34 is porn.
34 is porn, right? And so knowing like say you have your fans lead, it would be dope if somebody like if you were to have either like a cartoon version of yourself, you know, and then putting together something with that where you do the voiceover for it, or even if you voiced over some of the things, like, you know, because I know you also said I don't know if you still do, but you said that you were a fan of hentai. I don't know if you still are.
Definitely. 100%. Right. That will never change. Never.
That'll never change. Voiceover for hentai, because
yes, I want to so bad. Yes, I'm gonna be putting together the demo reel. It's gonna happen. Listen, I'm gonna be in somebody's hentai. I don't know, something hit me up.
And like I said, I think that like I said, because like that's what I love about creator space now too, is that there's so many ways to get creative in doing all the things that you want to do. And then also, like I said, with Bunny Black, with you, it's like you really created a whole character, right? So if there was an animated version of that, like I don't know has anybody ever drawn you yet?
I mean, I've gotten, I would say, just like a fair amount of fan art over the years in general, but I don't think with the purpose to characterize me, if that makes sense. Like yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth looking into. I've had stickers made, if that counts. Yeah, I've had me drawn in my cosplays for stickers, so I love those. I need to sell those online.
You haven't been? I thought you were saying that you were selling them.
I take them with me when I go on like cons and table, so I'll sell them with like prints. But neither of those I'm selling like standalone online, just because I'd be doing a bunch of other stuff and I'd be forgetting to do that.
I mean, that's the life of a creator.
I'm always thinking of like 15 different things, right? And that's I think one of the reasons why I haven't visited Sasuke is because I'm the type of person where it's like, okay, I did that cosplay. Now I have to cosplay one of the other 2,456 that I want to do. So,
all right, let's have some real fun. Dream cosplay group. Like
cosplay group.
If you had to put together a cosplay group, what would be the group, the people that would be within that group, and what group cosplay would y'all do?
Ooh, okay. So I would have to take a little bit of time probably to think about who would be what, but I've always wanted to do the main 6 from My Little Pony.
Ooh.
Because I just like My Little Pony. Okay. I would be Rarity, of course, because I'm the extravagant seamstress of the friend group with generosity in her veins. I would probably make Ty Spike then him bro, because he already has an undying crush on me, so it makes sense. This was hard. I would probably make my friend Pandora Twilight because she's very, very smart. And can sometimes be like the shut up, we're gonna do this right. Wheels of an operation. I don't know if I have like any like country friends. Maybe one of my cousins. I would get one of my cousins. I would get my cousin Bebe to cosplay Applejack because she is from Birmingham and she, I feel like, is just like her. Who else? Fluttershy. I don't even know shy people.
I like how you're really trying to, like, you're matching people's real personality to the character.
I want to, like, when we be in the group and we're just like acting, you're like, damn, that's really them for real. What happened? I don't know who would be Fluttershy. I have like very little shy friends. Maybe my friend Hylia, actually. I'm pretty sure she actually cosplays Fluttershy. I'm gonna hit her up. We're gonna do a set. Rainbow Dash would probably be my friend Sierra, just off the top of my head. One, she already cosplays Rainbow Dash, and she's just the most concentrated amount of bruh energy I've ever seen in a girl. Just she's like a frat boy but stuck in a girl's body, and I love that for her. And who am I missing? Pinkie Pie. Ooh. That would have to be probably my friend Kayla Kiki Chia, because she's just constantly partying. And I'm like, if you don't settle down and take care of yourself. We were at DreamCon and I had to make her like go lay down in my bed because she had like a horrible migraine because she hadn't drank water like all day. And I was like, have you been drinking alcohol? And she's like, and I'm like, well, this is why.
You know what?
Party a little less.
But here's the thing though, and this is where I was like, dang it, I wish I knew Ronnie before DreamCon so I could have partied with her, because you was telling this story. I forgot which con it was at, but you was talking about a con and you was telling a story. It was the story where I think, was it you or somebody ordered a whole bunch of teeths off of.
Yeah, those were the Michigan friends. That was Anna. Oh my God, yeah.
But that story sounded, I was like, I want to kick it with Ronnie. I was like, because that whole night sounded like it was just nothing but fun.
It was just wild. These specifically this group of like friends that I have in Detroit, they call themselves the Ratchet Roaches. And they all do a lot of like promoing for a Detroit convention out there, Youmacon. So a lot of them will get paid by Youmacon or get reimbursements to go and table for the con at other conventions. So it'll be like this group of friends just traveling to different conventions nearby on this other con's dime to, you know, promote during the day, but at the night dress up entirely the same and just be on utter menace shit. And they're so much fun.
So with that goes to one of my other questions. We always do top 5. Now I'm not gonna do top 5 cosplays because you've answered that a million times. But I do want to get from you, and it doesn't, and a caveat, it doesn't have to be in order, and it can be currently top 5 conventions that you've been to.
Oh, I feel like that's actually probably pretty easy. So I guess in no particular, well,
unless you want to put it in order.
I think I could probably put it in order. Hold on, let me think. Maybe that one. Okay, so interchangeable, it could be a different one, but I'm going to tentatively give my 5th place to Anime Expo in LA. It's just, when you think of an anime con, that is an anime con. Like, they've got the most programming, maybe the most vendors. I think Anime Expo is actually the largest anime convention in the US, if I'm not mistaken. San Diego Comic-Con is bigger technically, but it is a comic con, not an anime con, so it doesn't count. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of like, you know, industry panels, lots of like announcements. So it's just like super hype. And Hypeland has like a giant inflatable like carnival there that they do each year, which is a lot of fun. Nice. Yeah, the whole thing is just fucking lit. So that's probably my 5th. My fourth is one of the first cons that I'd ever gone to, is Colossal Con. The original one was at the Kalahari in Sandusky, Ohio, and I originally grew up in Ohio, so that's why I was able to go. But they have since expanded, and I think they have like 4 different Kalaharis now. And at one point, right before the pandemic, they tried to like test out a cruise that I actually went on, and it wasn't that great, but it was fine because I still love them. But they host all of these conventions at a Kalahari. So
they're coming to Milwaukee. I mean, well, not Milwaukee, in the Wisconsin Dells. We have
because Daisho got canceled. Yeah, so that, and it's just a huge party con. Like, people do like bikini versions of characters. Like, it's so like, there's definitely still people who come there hitting, but it's so low pressure because everyone is just drunk in a hot tub in a wig, and the vibes are a lot of fun. And every time I've almost gotten arrested, it was at Colossal. Not every time, most of the time. It's just, it's a party. It's a great time. Yeah. And okay, so that's 4. 3 is probably, yes. 3 is Dragon Con. I love Dragon Con in Atlanta. It's just, it's Black on accident. Like, it doesn't even mean to be, but it's so big and there's so much really cool programming. The masquerade there is one of my favorite masquerades that I go to. And it was also the con that allowed me to underage drink because there was way too many people there and they were not checking IDs. So shout outs to Dragon Con for letting me turn up early. And there's like this community sense there where people will kind of do crossover cosplays. Like, you don't have to, but a lot of people will do their crossover cosplays at Dragon Con for some reason. So it's just so much fun to see all these people coming in and they're blending 2 things together and they're like pointing at each other for blending 2 things, and it's cute. So that's definitely my 3rd favorite. And I hope y'all don't hate me for this. I'm gonna say my 2nd favorite con is probably DreamCon. Okay. To be fair, I have only gone 1 year, and the year that I have gone, I was a guest, so I didn't get to experience as much of the con as I would have liked because I just, have responsibilities and whatever. But it was like, I only went there once and it made my top 3, so that's got to count for something. Just vibes immaculate, people great. I know like everybody there. It felt like a family reunion.
It did. It felt like a family reunion.
It felt like a family reunion, and it was just like, I knew the moment I was in that Anime After Dark panel, I was like, I gotta come here literally every year. Like, this is my tribe. These are my people. Yeah. We're all belligerent and drunk and yelling at each other about anime at like midnight, and I just want this for myself forever. So that's probably my 2nd favorite con, and it could move up in the near future. We'll see. But as of right now, the crown prince is Blerd-con, because it is also just huge family reunion vibes. Like, people who like Black cosplayers that have been in this game for ages. Like, when I go to DreamCon, I was like, oh, these are all my internet friends that I've been like on Twitter with and doing stuff. But I go to Blerd-con and I was like, these are the people that I've been going to cons with since I was 14. So it's a lot of like older heads there too. And the programming, there's just so much like explicitly like Black programming there. Like, the DJs are great. The food trucks there are phenomenal. I love the food trucks at Blerd-con.
But quiet as kept, a lot of people don't know how much a food truck is important to a convention. Oh my God.
And when I say Blerd-con got the fucking formula down packed with allowing these food trucks to like be in like a huge parking lot and line the whole thing, and then they have a stage in the middle of it where they have live performers the entire time that are also in the Blerd scene. So these are people who are, I make music, but I also cosplay, or I make specifically anime like opening covers, so I'm finna go up and play my guitar to the anime covers, or I do I'm a producer and I make music for video games, so these are some of my like music video game beats, and it's just awesome. I love the feeling there. And then all of the food trucks are Black owned, all of them that are there.
Love it.
And so then you can get like soul food, you could get Jamaican, you can get Louisiana and Cajun, and it's just all right there for you. You don't need to go anywhere else. I was eating good every single day at Blerd-con each year. So yeah, definitely I would say top 5 easy.
Nice.
Love those, would definitely recommend. But I guess it also kind of depends on what you want out of your con experience. So I always ask people like, you know, what are your favorite things about going to a con? And then I could probably tell you, at least of the ones that I've been to, which ones I feel like you would have the most fun at.
Oh yeah, that's dope. That's dope. You know, I love that the reason why that made yours though, your number one, is the people and the culture of it and everything like that. It makes it like, okay, yeah, this is not just, you know, I like this con because of the aesthetics. It's like the feel of it. And like I said, that's the experience that a lot of people don't understand. Like cons are really dope, but if you can have an experience based off of just whether it is the people, whether it is just, you know, you got to meet somebody that you haven't had a chance to meet in person yet, and you got to have that moment with that person like that. It's really dope. It's one of the reasons why I love going to conventions, and like one of the reasons why, like, even the small things I started realizing, like when we go to conventions, we're covering as press. One of the things that I do as press is I bring my camera, I take photos, but I take high resolution photos, edit it, and I send it to the people free of charge, because there's so many people who when they put all this work in this cosplay, they may not even be creators. They just put all this work in cosplay, and people stop them, take their photos. They never see these photos. So I'm like, no, let me get you these photos. Like you put in work. If I can make somebody who's just a regular person who put a lot of work in cosplay feel special because of their cosplay and feel like, yo, I had this moment and somebody took this photo of me and look at how it looks, I want to do that for them. And I think that is that, to me, that's the essence of a convention, building.
Honestly, yeah, that's exactly what it is that I'm going for too. And it's funny that you mentioned like going for the people instead of the aesthetics, because as you saw, I had a little bit of trepidation. I understand that Blerd-con has earned itself a little bit of a reputation, and I'm not here to tell anybody that they're wrong for, you know, those feelings, but it's just kind of like as someone who has gone a couple of times, it really is just like the people there that make it. And I believe in still continuing to invest in something that I want to see the best for, even if I don't think that they're there yet.
Yeah.
And I know that there's definitely some kinks that need to be probably ironed out across the board on all 5 of mine. But obviously, as we are a very tight-knit community, and, you know, when we talk, we know what's going on.
Yeah.
I just definitely want to see better in the future for a place where I have felt so, you know, at home and felt so a part of, you know, going forward.
Yep. So before we get you out here, two last things when I get you out here. One, what were you doing in Milwaukee?
That's wild. I definitely did live in Milwaukee for a year. So okay, so this is what happened. So I was born and raised in Cleveland. Shout outs to absolutely nothing in the 216.
I love it.
Fuck Ohio. No. Yeah. But yeah, I was itching to get out there. I was graduating college in 2018, and my dad had just freshly remarried, and I was like, there's absolutely no way in hell I'm finna go back to the honeymoon chateau. I'm finna to get the hell up out to here. So at the time, I was in a long distance relationship with my partner, Ty, who was raised and lived in Milwaukee. So that's like 8 hours between us. And then fun fact, we actually met at an anime convention in Chicago, like right in the middle of both of us. So I was like, well, I'm not moving back home. I have most of my stuff packed up from being at college anyway. So I'm just going to pack the other half of it, and I'm just going to go move into his apartment with him. So we lived there for a year, but we both knew that we didn't want to stay in the Midwest because we both hate the wintertime. I hate snow. I don't like being cold. I'm very tiny, and I take iron every day, and I still can't make my own body heat. I don't know what's wrong. I'm a lizard. I just need a hot rock to lay out on, you know what I'm saying? So he was a firefighter at the time, and we saw that the Las Vegas Fire Department was hiring, and he was like, cool, let me apply for a lateral. And so they transferred him down here. Unfortunately, apparently the Milwaukee Fire Department, as you probably know as someone who lives there, is a lot more Black. Like the fire department, I mean, well, there's probably like some shifts that are a little bit more white, but the black shift is all the black people in the entire fire department on one shift. And that was, you know, the shift that he was a part of. So he was, you know, amongst his people. That wasn't as much the case in Vegas fire department. It was a bunch of like Proud Boys, like, and it was wild because he would tell me stories about how, you know, he would be firefighting in Milwaukee, and they actively, like, the firefighters in Milwaukee hate the police. They can't stand each other. They're like, get the fuck out of my way, you're making my job harder, leave. But it seems like they're more in cahoots down here, and I was like, I'm not feeling that fuck 12. This is feeling a little racist, feeling a little hate crimey. So I think I'm just gonna, you know, pull back some soft and be a thought on the internet with my girlfriend. So 5 years strong to that.
Nice. Well, I mean, like I said, when you said that, I said, wait, what? But then also, that year you was here, you did a interview with somebody. If I'm not mistaken, it was from Milwaukee. I was just watching it beforehand.
Oh, was it the one with Jinx, Gay Milwaukee?
Yes.
Yes, I love Jinx. Jinx. Funny enough, yeah, we'd actually met at an anime convention years before I moved out to Milwaukee, and then I moved out there, and they were like, do you know I live out here? And I was like, bitch, no. And then we became best friends.
And so, and it was dope because, like, I was like, oh man, this is really extremely dope. My cousin El Halo, she's a huge community leader in Milwaukee for the LGBTQ plus community.
Shout out to the Space Cats in Milwaukee, by the way. That's the House of OJ.
I support her as much as I can, and with everything. They did a mural. I also make music, and they had a mural of her, and so I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna shoot this music video in front of her mural."
Oh, that's so sweet.
I thought it was so dope because I'm like, here I am, you know, a straight male in front of this LGBTQ plus leader, and the message that you know, I make music. I always say, like, I'm in that J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar spectrum. All my music has to have a purpose, like, you know, that's just my, like, now I still like my ratchet music. I have no problem.
Of course, no,
you know what I'm saying? Yo Gotti Rex is my theme song. Like that, I got them. That is my theme song.
I hear you.
But it was like the music that I make personally.
It's cathartic for you,
right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, I got this music called American Dream, where we're kind of talking about, you know, police brutality and things that African Americans are going through. And I was like, I thought it was such a powerful statement to be in front of that mural, you know, from my segment in regards to that, because, you know, just like Black Lives Matter, Black Trans Lives Matter, and that's one thing that I'm like, yo, I've been like, at me being an active ally during everything, like I heard that community, what you guys are talking about, what you guys are going through, and I was like, you know what, I want to make sure that I told you in our email, I constantly live my life figuring out how I can be a better ally. And for those who see me as an ally, like, yeah, I'm gonna be extra. I'm gonna be over the top with my allyship, because even I'm like, when with Black Lives Matter and everything like that, when white people talk to me, when they say, how can I be a better ally? And I'm like, well, the one thing is you got to want to be an ally. Like, I shouldn't have to drag you over here. And I shouldn't have to make it like you need to be over. I need to see you being extra. So
right.
Like,
don't make me do more work.
Yeah. And so I was like, I want to be that. I want to be the change that I want to see. I'm going to be that. So like, you know, my cousin does something, I'm hyping it up. You know what I'm saying? When I get to talk to anybody in the community, I'm like, oh, let me bring her up. When I'm on a podcast, I'm like, yo, y'all want to talk to somebody that's dope? Talk to this person, you know. And but I'm like, I'm gonna be extra because, again, I want that. And so it was like, you know, when I saw you, you know, just even have that interview with her, I was like, yo, this is dope. I was like, she's already got ties in Milwaukee. I was like, oh, I'm definitely out. I was like, when I was going to call my cousin later on this week, like, yo, have you ever heard of her? You know, a Bunny Black. I was like, let me introduce you to somebody that I think, because she's also a big nerd too.
Hey.
So it's like, oh, I'm like, yo, this is somebody that you're going to love, right? You know, so it's like, you know, like I was just excited about that. So I'm glad that we got that shared little bit of history.
You know, shout out to the Bucks.
All right. So last thing, recommendations. It could be something that you're reading, you're watching, you're listening to, but something that you think that my listeners or viewers should check out.
Okay. If you haven't already watched Ranking of Kings, I know it's a little slept on, but my King Boji deserves your love and affection. Make sure that you've got Chainsaw Man coming out next month on your radar, because that is gonna eat. And if you're not caught up with the manga, I would do so now, because the minute that anime drops, Twitter niggers are going to go crazy with spoilers. I'm I'm trying to catch up now. They finna be like, this who died. This who they can't wait to ruin it for you. Watch One Piece. And read more. God, there was an author in my head that I really wanted to, when we were talking about how much Black women read, that I was like thinking about I don't read. I'm a fake nerd. I can't remember her name, but shout outs to her in my head. Right. And yeah, just, take time to check in on somebody. Call your grandma this week.
Love you. I love that. So where can people find you?
I am everywhere safe for Workly as It's Wreck-It Ronnie. So that is going to be IG and IG, I think that might be it. Everywhere that you might see a little bit of not safe for work stuff, that's going to be Fansly, that's going to be Twitter. My TikTok is also that, but the community guidelines. It's just because my other account got banned that I don't have that username no more. But it's Bunny Black with an I instead of a Y. And Ronnie is spelled Ronnie.
Awesome. Well, listen, thank you so much. I've been your boy Deuces. This has been the amazing Wreck-It Ronnie. And this is the only place that blend hip hop culture and geek culture together. And we are out. Peace.